Hey, it's Jess from Yogi Triathlete. We have spent years coaching and competing in endurance sports, and now we're bringing you our newest offering, Endurance Squad, training with a holistic edge created by athletes for athletes. This isn't just another training platform. It's a dynamic community built on performance, longevity, and well-being. Whether you're a triathlete, runner, thru hiker, or simply training for life, we bring cutting-edge endurance training, mindset practices, and expert-led recovery tools together in one place. With new training plans and classes added each month, plus monthly group coaching calls with our master coach, BJ, you'll always have the support you need, because endurance isn't just about miles, it's about how you show up, body and mind. Ready to train differently? Join us at yogitriathlete.com/squad.
Both of you are touching on something that is the heart of what I think Yogi Triathlete is, which is training for life. And being able to say you've had some sort of consistency for X period of time, a little bit every day over a long period of time, it pays off, and it allows you to show up and do a race when you don't feel like you've put all the training in that you need. But in reality, you've done 10 times more than so many people have that decided to do this 10 weeks ago, 3 months ago, 5 months ago, or just starting their journey, but you've been on it this whole time and dedicated and committed to it. So the fitness may not be there in your eyes, but the reality is it's there and it's been built over time, and it allows us to have these experiences, which is 1,000% why I came back after all this time, and also speaks to just the environment of having everybody around in the week leading up to the race and what that community does. And it's like, yeah, we want everybody to have their best day and to just absolutely crush it out there. But we're here for you to make sure that even if it doesn't go your way, you find the path forward from it. So it's a testament to the entire community and what we do, I think.
Welcome back to the Yogi Triathlete podcast, where we dive deep with the awakened athlete. And today we're bringing the fire from the SoCal coast. Oceanside 70.3 just went down in a big way, and Team Yogi Triathlete showed up and threw down. We're talking grit, grace, and full body, yes, energy across the board. 4 official finishers on the mic today. Brendan, Brenda, Claire, and Philip, plus our master of getting faster, co-founder, coach, and community igniter, BJ. BJ crushed his race just 6 months after a terrible bike crash that left him questioning everything about movement. His comeback is a testament to resilience, courage, and the power of the YT way. In total, we had 9 finishers representing Yogi Triathlete on race day and a cheer squad that brought down the house. Emma, remember her from the Ironman Arizona First Timer Series? She flew in from Chicago just to support her crew, soak up that California sun, and stoke the vibe flames even higher. This team has been showing up for each other for weeks. Group workouts, pre-race rituals, and major FOMO for those watching from afar. And now we're celebrating every ounce of it. So tune in, feel the electricity, and get a taste of what's possible when you align purpose, community, and badassery, because we're going next level in 2026 and you're invited.
That was awesome. So cool. All right. I'm so glad to see these happy faces here. For those that are listening, we have video for this podcast, so you'll be able to see all these amazing, smiling, beautiful faces. First things first, how's everyone feeling right now? Body, mind, and heart. Let's give a quick rundown. Brenda.
I'm feeling actually really great. Thank you. Body's feeling good. Mind's feeling good. Heart is ready to get training again for the next big thing.
Yeah, usually that rest period after a race is the work. That's where we need to temper our efforts. And for, I know all of you really well, it's that desire to get back out there so quick. But this is an important time to rest the body, but keep that anticipation, keep that into this. What?
As we just came off a trail run where we all went for Strava segments. I think Philip said he's ridden like 200 miles since the race. But we've got this vibe going and we're just keeping it. So it's like, it's really about how that heart feels, you know? So yeah, Claire, how you feeling coming off of, you had a week here in Southern California, you had a great race, and yeah, how's the heart feeling? How's the mind and body?
Oh, spectacular. Cloud 9 level. It doesn't get better. I mean, like truly coming back, I feel really, really good the entire week. And I feel like we're approaching this like cruising altitude that's just getting higher and higher. So I'll take it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's a testament to consistency, I would say. Do you agree?
Yes, 1,000%.
Yeah. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy. And we'll dive a little bit into that. How about you, Brendan?
Oh,
Hello.
in person.
Yeah, I feel good. I don't know. It's like part of it is exhaustion. A part of it is just like riding this bliss of kind of getting a lot of good things done in a short amount of time and just keeping the momentum going. I just want to keep going. Like, it's kind of crazy being out here and just training every day and soaking up the sunshine. I feel like I could do this forever. If this was what every post race felt like, I'd be pretty stoked to have a career of that, you know? Yeah, ready for more.
But you're also balancing post race and pre race.
Yeah, it's like a weird kind of taper of riding the fitness from 70.3 Oceanside into the Mendo 50K and finding ways to like sharpen up trail running post triathlon is kind of fun. And yeah, I'm excited for the 19th to see what happens. It's going to be a special race.
Yeah, Mendocino 50K is one of our favorites. I think I've raced it four or five times now, and I'm not done with it. And Philip, we want to hear from you. Philip is, man, you're like a pillar of my triathlon history because what a lot of people may not know is that BJ, Philip, and I were all on the same racing team like 20 years ago with our first triathlon coach, Craig Howie. And then Philip and I spent a lot of time with Philip on the massage table and me as his practitioner for many years. And yeah, he's back in the community. I feel like, although from what I hear, Philip, you never really left. You were kind of watching everything go down, and it's just so nice to have you back into the fold and have you here with the team racing. So how are you doing? How's the heart and mind and body after the race, and just being in this vibe of the Yogi Triathlete community, like firsthand?
I didn't quite realize it, but I have been looking for a community or needing a community for a while. So I feel very fortunate to have been able to reconnect the way we have. It's been huge for me. Head and heart are as good as they've been since I can remember. Body is appropriately and delightfully tired. No injuries, just a nice buzz of fatigue.
Well, I think this is really the focus of the training that we all execute and believe in. It's that slow drip of constantly testing and training the body so that we can continue to do these things. And I see athletes all the time finish races and they're devastated. They're just like so in the sensation of the body, or have overreached in their fitness level. But I feel like the way that we train and coach and move you in that direction of achieving, accomplishing the race allows you to afterwards continue to focus on that movement and not have to drop everything. And I feel like we're ready to just jump into anything we want to without putting ourselves into a deeper hole. Like we're capable of it, and part of that's belief, but a big part of that is that consistent training where the body's always under a load. It doesn't have to be extreme, but it's just enough that we can continue to enjoy this process over and over and for a lifetime. That's really, I think I was talking to Philip about it. Like, really what I want to do is do this for a really long time. So being patient with the process allows us to do this. And I wouldn't be surprised, a lot of us could have raced again this weekend, or, I mean, we may not have wanted to, but I think we're capable. I know we're capable of that.
Yeah, I meant that in all of the best ways, that I am now, with you all's help, fit enough to be fatigued without being injured, without being distraught, without being motivation gone. Like, it's a happy fatigue, and I miss being there. So this is a really good thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. I actually did a presentation this morning for a yoga teacher training that's happening right now back in Massachusetts. And the subject matter that I talked about was willpower, using willpower to create healthy habits. And how I feel like it ties in here is, I feel like over time, merging in mindfulness and mental training through the science of yoga has really expanded how I define willpower, right? And willpower is this force of energy. And I think that especially in endurance sports, or anyone who's a high achiever, it's like push through, like rah, 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 like this kind of like real forceful energy. And that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And I think what I have come to realize, which I really feel like you guys are talking about right now, is when we merge willpower with mindfulness, we get this intentional, we're using our willpower in an intentional way that creates sustainable training. It creates a sustainable mindset where we're coming through these things on the other side and we're not wrecked, because it's not about forcing. It is how we train is like intentional, repeated action, which I guess could also be consistency. And I think that's what we all experience. Like the Monday after Oceanside, we hopped on the bike and we rode 65 miles and we climbed 7,000 feet. I haven't done that ride for over a year, but I felt fine afterwards. And I think that that's really the beauty of like bringing intentional action to our willpower to big goals, and we can achieve great performance through that. All right. So I want to dive into a question, and let's just go around. Let's see. Brendan, I'm going to start with you on this question. Was there a moment during the race where you had to dig deeper than expected? And then I think the natural thing, although I'm not a huge fan of the two-part question, the natural thing that would come next is like, how did you move through that moment of digging deeper?
I think in the last, in the last 5K maybe of the run. Yeah.
We need you in the frame, man.
I know. I forgot there's a video.
We got to show off that SoCal tan. You're so SoCal right now. You got a beanie and a sweatshirt and it's like 72 degrees outside.
Cozy. It's my vibe. It's just a cozy fit. I think in the last 5K of the run was really when it was the mental game of digging a little deeper. And I had to put my money where my mouth is a little bit, because there was 3 fit guys in front of me and I was like, it's just a 5K left. Like, let's go. Like, not trying to like hype them up. And they kind of gave me this face that they weren't having it. And I was like, well, I got to kind of live by my word now. So I pushed it in those last 3 miles. And there was a bunch of points where I was like, just slow down. Cause I'm not an official finisher because I disqualified. But there was plenty of opportunities for me to be like, you can just walk, man. Like, this time doesn't matter. And then I was like, it matters to me. It matters to me. And it was kind of like I had this commentary on the commentary, which was always fun to get behind and be like, yeah, I don't really care what you're saying about me not having to push anymore. Like, I'm going to keep going until I can't. And like, until I die, basically. And just, I think you guys saw me. I was in the pain cave a little bit for that last stretch into the finish. And it was, it was kind of, I don't know, it was blissful finishing that race, because it was probably the first 70.3 I finished where I didn't have to immediately like lay down for 10 or 15 minutes. I felt strong after, and I was able to like keep some food down. So that was nice. What was the second part of the question?
Well, how did you do it? How did you get through that? Like, I love it.
Yeah. Just,
like your awareness of like the commentary, but then there's the commentary with the commentary behind the commentary, and like you're just aware of it all, and then you get into that space where you can choose, like, I'm going to go anyway.
Yeah, the voices, the commentary never goes away. It's just like, I made a decision. I'm going to keep going, And I don't care what that other voice, that's my lower self, says. I'm just going to keep going until I cannot. That's how I get past those moments. It's doesn't always happen that way. But when it does, cool things happen usually.
Yeah. I love that. Brenda, I'm going to throw it over to you. And then how we'll do it, just like you guys just chime in after Brenda's done, somebody pop on, we'll just keep this real conversational. And yeah, if there's anything that Brendan sparks in you or Brenda does or whatever, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I feel like weirdly, the hardest part for me was about 3/4 into the swim. After the turn buoy, after turning the second buoy back into the harbor, I kind of had a blank out until we got past the pier. Like I couldn't remember how I just got from point A to point B. It felt like I had this like time where it's just, I realized, oh wait, yeah, you're swimming. And like I had a little blackout in my mind. And then I thought I saw the get out of the water buoy, but it was actually the end of the pier. And then I realized I had to swim the whole length of the pier, and the sun was in our eyes, and there was just so many people thrashing around me. And then I was starting to get cold. I felt a little hypothermic towards the end, but I always just know I have to get out of the water. So I just kept telling long and strong and calm over and over in my head, and trying to just stay inside my body and not get tripped up by all the people around me kicking and trying to swim over me. So I always get out of the water, but that point was kind of felt very long, a little dark for a second, and then kind of came out of it.
Is that a mantra you use in training or in practice, or was that just something you use to drive your attention away from all the over kicking and clobbering?
I've used it in races and sometimes in practice, but not consistently. So it's something I started using about a year ago in races, and I try to remember it in practice, but it's a work in progress.
No, it's great. It's a tool to use when you need it. It's there for you, and in those moments you have a split choice. Like, do you feed the chaos and feel that flutter of the heart where you're sort of fight or flight, or you can choose to be calm, and everything outside of you, can you not let it disturb your peace?
Yeah, I think that the getting out of the water was really frantic, and I believe I was a little hypothermic because I remember hearing saying, do you need help with your zipper? And the next thing I heard was keep walking. So for a second I just stopped. And I felt like I was in this kind of another out-of-body experience, which I've not experienced in a race before. But I just stopped at the bottom of the ramp, and people are pushing and shoving around me, and I was just standing there. So with the help of the wonderful volunteers, I got up the ramp. And then I realized, oh yeah, I'm racing. And then I started to run.
Jump right in. Anybody? Philip? Claire?
See, this race is interesting for me because when I think about digging deeper, for me in this race, it was having the presence of mind to say now is not the moment to do that. And I think what I tend to do or have done in the past is chronic overbiking and getting very excited out of the swim and blowing my entire race. So knowing that this course is backhill heavy, but the front you can really cruise, I was like, I gotta stay here now, let the body warm up. It took like an hour and a half for me to feel my legs, I feel like, and have it be actually fluid motion responding, and just know that like I could push it and keep pushing that edge, but had to keep being able to take in nutrition, being able to stay in tune with what was happening around me and just keep moving forward, knowing the back half was where we got to have fun. And by doing that, got through the climbing so much better than the last time I did this race in 2019, and just smashed it. As soon as we headed downhill, I'm like, all right, it's net downhill the rest of the way. This is the chunk to do it. Now we go. And it was go time. And I don't think previous me would have had the patience and the presence to say, I'm doing what I need to do so that way I can actually get through this race and run the race and finish the race and have a holistic race that I am proud of and can build on going forward. And I mean, first race since I started doing this in 2018 that I was actually able to take in everything I packed without stomach distress, which is mind-blowing. So a little bit of figuring things out over time, but being able to say now's not the moment to go and being ready for when that moment did come.
How cool is that? Like where you broke like a cycle of going too hard on the bike. How does it feel on the other side now to have the evidence of what happens when you self-regulate?
Oh, fantastic. Because you sit here and you go, oh my God, if I can do that, okay, now where does this go from here? Like now I know what to do to make it through strong. And I know I can do so much faster and so much stronger than I did. And now I have the tool that is the foundation to build upon for it. So it's like, hell yeah, time.
Hell yeah time. Yeah, I mean,
hell yeah time.
Almost a 30-minute PR on the course. You PR'd the bike by 20 minutes. You still ran a minute faster than you did, and you swam faster than you did. Yeah, I would say it's hell yeah time. And what did you get for
World's qualification? Which I've been stalking the course for relentlessly since.
That's amazing. Big congratulations from that. And I think nutrition, fitness, mindset, all of it came together. Probably not as we had planned ideally, but it always works out perfectly for our greatest good. So congrats.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. For me, the most challenging part of the race wasn't in the race at all. It was in the days leading up to the race. I've been racing a very long time, and I don't have near the fitness that I would say I normally want to have to race. So for me, the challenge was finding a mindset to be present in the day, be content in the day, let the day be what it was going to be. So wrapping my head around that and my heart around that before the start was my biggest challenge of the weekend. Once I was in the race, all the things happened. I rode too hard. I knew I didn't have the bike miles. I didn't have the run miles I normally have. I attended someone's succulent garden about mile 11 of the run, which I feel horrible about. But not once through the day did my heart break, or I didn't call myself, like, I maintained a positive attitude. I wasn't worried, like, it was all good. Even though I was falling, the wheels fell off really good, really, like, I demonstrated what happens when you overbike. Like, outstanding. But mentally and emotionally, the wheels never came off. So physically, I fell apart, but mentally and emotionally, I was rock solid all day. And that is really unusual for me. So for me, that's a win that I don't even have a scale to say how big it's on. Like, my scale didn't go that far before. So that was my big moment. It's almost good that the race fell apart on me, because it got to show me what head and heart can do. So
I wanted to follow up on something Philip said. I felt the same way. I didn't feel I had the fitness I want to going in. It was my slowest 70.3 that I've ever done. Yet my head and my heart felt really full in the race, throughout the race, before the race, after the race. It's the first time that I finished a race, no matter what place I got or time I got, that I didn't beat myself up and said I could have done better. It was just a great experience, just being there and finishing the day and having everybody around. It's just still feel great. Cloud 9.
I was just going to say, because I think both of you are touching on something that is the heart of what I think Yogi Triathlete is, which is training for life, and being able to say, you've had some sort of consistency for X period of time, a little bit every day over a long period of time, it pays off, and it allows you to show up and do a race when you don't feel like you've put all the training in that you need. But in reality, you've done 10 times more than so many people have that decided to do this 10 weeks ago, 3 months ago, 5 months ago, or just starting their journey. But you've been on it this whole time and dedicated and committed to it. So the fitness may not be there in your eyes, but the reality is it's there and it's been built over time, and it allows us to have these experiences, which is 1,000% why I came back after all this time, and also speaks to just the environment of having everybody around in the week leading up to the race and what that community does. And it's like, yeah, we want everybody to have their best day and to just absolutely crush it out there. But we're here for you to make sure that even if it doesn't go your way, you find the path forward from it. So it's a testament to the entire community and what we do, I think.
Well, let's pull on. If you want to talk about anything, but I like that, Claire. Thank you so much. And we do believe that we're continuing to build this Yogi Triathlete Awaken Ready community, which you were at the root of in 2016. So blessed to have you part of it and to come back. And that's another thing, you're always welcome back. I think is a really important piece. But you touched upon the community, and I wanted to hear what you guys thought about having so many athletes in the weeks leading into the race, or the week leading into the race, and then to come and gather at some events and workout sessions, and then be able to see them on course every so often, most likely on the run course. How did that all feel to you? How about you, Philip?
That was a highlight of the day. I loved seeing Brendan crush it. BJ chasing me down on the run. He wasn't. He was on lap 2. I was on lap 1. It's great to see people have great days. And then if you know the person, that's even more of a bonus, because you understand a little bit about all the crap everybody goes through just being human. To see and understand some of what we've all been through, and then still see you get to the places you all were. Brenda, I saw you a couple of times. It was just that was the highlight, running. And I was on the run course for a while, so I got to see a lot.
What about you?
I'll jump in real quick. I wouldn't be doing this race if it wasn't for the community that's over here. I love doing Oceanside because I know there's going to be a bunch of yogis. I'm going to have a squad to come race with. And I just, in the weeks leading up, I'm watching all you guys train, like doing long runs and long rides on the weekends. And the word FOMO has been getting thrown around a lot. And it's just this training FOMO of like, man, I want to be there. And my wife, Kristen, and I were like planning on driving cross country, or that was the plan. So like this whole time I'm just like, Kristen, look what they're doing. Like, look at this. Like, we're going to be there soon. And, we came right to the pool when we got here and met up with Jess and BJ. And then I met Brenda, and it's just like this awesome week of Oceanside where like I meet people that I haven't seen in a while, like Philip, who I met at camp. And then I meet new people like Brenda and Claire. And I see some old heads and some new heads and make new friends and make new connections. And like, to me, that's what life is all about, is meeting people and hearing their story and just making connections, like real human connections, where I feel like in endurance, like you get to that point of rawness where like there's not a lot of masks left to wear. So you meet people where they really are, especially post-race. And I think the vibes post-race in the yogi corner was pretty high, and I love that. Yeah,
I agree. The spectating was really fun. Emma's never spectated a race before, and it's like, it's a lot of work. She's like, whoa, but it's so fun. And then we just started having rules. We're like, hey, if you're in the Yogi Triathlete kit, you're going to get photos, video, and cheers. If you're not, we can't promise you anything because, we're tracking 9 of you, plus we're tracking a couple people for our good friend Jennifer, who was, in Mallorca while her athletes were racing, and then plus all the people in the community here. And it was a total blast. And I think this seed for me was planted back in 2008 when I did my first Ironman in Coeur d'Alene. And I did it with 4 other teammates, 4 other guys, BJ included. And like that, it was just like this stream of hope all day long. Like, I can't wait to see the next person. And you see him coming down, and it just infuses you with so much energy when you're out there and you're all doing the same thing. And then talking about, the trials and the tribulations and the high points after the race. It's just, there's nothing better. And that experience really planted a seed for me. And I thought, my God, I would love to be the creator of something like that, where we could create a platform for people where they could have that experience, because we've also gone to races and we've raced, by ourselves and families there, and that's fun. But when you have a community of athletes who get it because they are on the battlefield with you, or they have been and they're on the sidelines, like, I think there's nothing more powerful than that. Yeah. So what are we? We're on community. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyone else want to share anything?
I'll share what going along what Brendan said, and it's so nice to hear you say my wife. Every year I've done this race 3 times, and every year, the first time I signed up, the second, then I said I'm never doing that again, and then I signed up again. And when I drove down to California saying I'm never doing this race again, and before we left or even finished the race, I'm like practically already signed up for next year. And it is the community it was just a fantastic few weeks, and I'm still having FOMO seeing you guys running and riding. But being there on the course, I saw everybody. I saw Brendan. I don't know. I heard my name yelled from you 4 times, and we passed each other. And I saw Philip, and it was just, I don't know. It's just so hard. It's just such a different. The whole team and the community is such a different experience than I've had being by races by myself. And I've also been looking for community for many, many years. And it just feels really great to say that I found my community. So it just feels really good. It feels like being home. And I left on this trip feeling very empty, and I'm home feeling very full from the whole 2 weeks. It was just, it was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing what your perspective is on it. It's something, as you know, is super dear to our hearts, and we've worked tirelessly to bring this into manifestation. But it's heart and soul that's poured into it, and I don't see any other way to do this. As I look back, when we were living on the East Coast, I saw Oceanside, and I was like, there's no way I'm ever doing this race. It's cold, it's rainy, it's on the West Coast, best coast. And not, at that time, I did not know that. And now I'm here, and I don't care how cold it is. I don't care how hard it is. I don't care if it's been a journey to get faster and faster on this course. I love being part of what the energy is on the ground floor of this race. There's something about this race. So it really shows, like, we have all these preferences that we think define our attitude and perspective on things. And we need to constantly challenge those, because there's no way I would be doing this race if I didn't actually venture out into exploring what it's like on the other side of the coast. And it brought us a huge community, and I'll speak personally, it fills my heart so much to have more and more of you here for the race, but also the days leading in, and obviously the days after. It's really cool to race with you guys. That's something I want to continue to do for a very, 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 very long time, to be out on the course with you, supporting you. But yeah, this community, it's not stopping. So I highly encourage you to watch for that registration for Oceanside 2026. No pressure, but sign up. and make sure that we bring this to a new level. Yeah.
Did everybody chime in on that? Philip, did you chime in on that last question? Yeah. Okay. I have something I want to ask everyone. As we're talking about Oceanside 2026, we're going to be throwing it down. We're going to have an even bigger community. No disqualifications. And Brendan, you are not alone. We had another disqualification. So, and that is that speed zone. So leading into my question, somebody's listening to this and they're like, okay, I want to go and do Oceanside. What would be a tip or something that you would like to share with them, regardless of if they've raced it before or not? And I will start with the speed limit. Like, it's serious, and the speed limit is 25, but don't go 24. Like, go 17 or 15. Go ridiculously slow, so that you don't get disqualified. Yeah. So let's throw out some tips or advice or takeaways that you'd like to share. Philip, let's start with you.
For me, it would be something around the road conditions for that first 25 miles. I really had to relax and let it be what it was. My right aero bar is lower than my left from all of the rattling. Like, my aero bar shifted. The road surface was way more extreme than I had in my head. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know, but like, it took all of my mindfulness to not let it ruin my day. And I've had that happen in the past at races. Like, I won't race in Chatfield anymore because the road condition is just horrible. So that's a big one for me. Is just, you need to be aware, I think, so you can set a proper mindset. Like, all right, this first, I'm not going to be rolling as smooth as I have been practicing. Like, my practice rides, they feel great the first hour. You're going to have some extra physical input of and jars and jumps and bumps. And how many water bottles did you all see on the road? Everybody's water bottle. I mean, there were hundreds of water bottles on the road. So that would be something. Like, I have rubber bands around the ones I know eject. I have 2 cages that eject on my bike, so I've learned to rubber band over the top, because I can imagine that altered some people's days. They had their special bottle, and they lost it at mile 12 or 14, and then they had to panic to figure out how to make up their nutrition. So for me, the road condition, learn what you can about it. Make sure your bike is rattle-proof. Make sure your head is rattle-proof, and your bottom. So that's the input. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, that's super helpful. Mm-hmm. That's really good. Brendan, what about you?
I would say train hills on the bike and practice sighting a lot in the pool. That's swim, unless you're out front or front pack or more front. I don't know. You need to practice your sighting because it's just bodies everywhere. And if you aren't good at cycling up hills, you're not gonna have a good day. It's pretty simple. Those hills are gnarly. I saw people walking up the hill.
Do you feel you were adequately prepared in training for what to expect on the hills?
Yeah. I knew, we had some good sessions leading up, some like specific sessions, which were good. I mean, doing the course, the year before is helpful because your mind sort of knows what to expect. Like, I know there's 2 big hills coming. Then you hit the big hill and you're like, here's the big hill. And it's nice that the fitness works out and you can make it up those. But yeah, definitely train hills and sight. Learn how to sight because you're going to need to do it quite often. That swim course is like, I don't know if technical is the word, but for some of the other 70.3s or even like the one full I've done, it's kind of like you're out, you go at an angle, you come back, you do a couple different turns here and there. So it's kind of technical in terms of where you're going to turn, in my opinion. Yeah.
So you took 4 minutes off your swim and you took almost 30 minutes off your bike from last year.
That's not bad. What was my swim the first year?
It was 40.
Yeah, and I did 36 swim?
I think so.
I think I did a 34 swim.
Oh,
We don't have the time because I was disqualified.
You getting that from?
Yeah.
Because we know Strava doesn't have correct numbers.
Strava was a 34.
BJ, check my swim time because
I came in right after.
And you
right
started. You and I started pretty close, right? Weren't we?
Yeah.
I was a little further up, but I don't know how much.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a time, so
No,
I'm going off a training.
I don't have a time.
I'm going off a training.
You got to
peaks.
go off a training peaks.
It can be whatever you want it to be.
And also,
it says 36 on training, but it could be 30.
But I also didn't lap the watch until I was already in transition.
Oh.
So there's a minute there in transition.
Okay.
I know exactly what's going on.
Next year.
34 on the swim.
Don't blow the speed limit.
I won't.
Year.
I won't. Yes, need to be a little more mindful of that.
Yeah.
No more
Right.
40 mile per hour.
May I throw in something on the hills?
Yeah.
Brandon, didn't you put a bigger gear in the back? If your bike's not geared right, you're going to struggle on those hills. So
Yeah, I would definitely make sure you have 2x, not 1.
Yeah, understanding your bike strength so that your bike is geared properly for that steep of a hill. I saw people that were barely turning the pedals, and they just needed 3 or 4 more gears in the back. They just had the wrong cassette on or the wrong crank. So that would be a mechanical thing that is well within our control. But you have to be aware to know that you can control that.
Yeah, no, that's another super helpful thing. Yeah, I think I have like a 34 or something on my rear cassette, which is like I can climb anything on that. So yeah, and tri bikes typically are smaller. So yeah, that's a great thing to check in gearing. Brenda.
One other thing about the bike, the road surface, agreed everything Philip said. And one suggestion is put some stronger tires, some Continentals or some kind of alligator skin type tires. Get because that makes a big difference. I probably saw 25 people, maybe if not more, on the side of the road in the first half of the race with flats. So set yourself up for success. I also have a 32 on the back. Yeah, set yourself up for success in your gear. That would be a tip.
Yeah. Anything else, Brenda, that you can think of?
For me, at this race, for some reason, feels a little more frenetic on the course than other races. It felt very, like I didn't feel stressed, but it felt like there was a lot of like stress emotions, and there was a lot of hype going on, and the energy was, it was good energy, but a little bit stressful too, especially on the bike. I guess in the swim too, not on the run. The run felt calm, but there's a lot of people on the course. It's a very crowded course. The swim's very crowded. The bike course is very crowded, especially the first 5 miles. There's people weaving in and out actually throughout the whole race until the very end on the course, the bike course. So just my suggestion is to stay calm if you can and relaxed, even though you push as hard as you can, but stay calm and relaxed because people are flying in and out of you, in front of you, behind you. They don't stay on your left. And it's sometimes a little nervy of how close people come to you. So because the course is so crowded and the road surface are terrible, so people are weaving in and out of potholes and that kind of thing. So calm, hold your course, and just try to relax through that energy, even though you're pushing as hard as you can.
How would you find calm?
Breathing, putting me to the test. Honestly, I didn't remember my mantra until mile 50. I was still calm, but at mile 50, I remembered, oh yeah, I need to be in the moment. Maybe I wasn't as calm as I would have liked to be because it felt very frenetic, this ride, compared to some other races, just because there were so many people weaving in and out.
Yeah.
But breathing, being in the moment, staying the mantra.
Yeah, and it's all pointing you for the next race. Like it's just this is why we race. You continually sharpen those tools, right? On how can I be more present? How can I push more watts? How can I not feel the energy of the heightened energy of the race? How can I go inwards? And this is what we do. We practice. So when you get to race day, this stuff is all finely patterned and it's your default, and you show up and you can do your thing a little bit better.
So maybe that's why that was something that I noticed, because I wasn't doing the thing that I was supposed to be doing.
Oh yeah, it
in my
happens.
mind.
It happens all the time. It's like once you get it, you do the mantra. You're like, I get it. I cracked the code, and then the next race, you're like, well, I totally forgot. Like, how did I forget it? But that's the work. That's why we do this thing. That's why we keep showing up. This is why we do it. Yeah.
More to learn.
Absolutely. Yeah. Always be learning. Beginner's mind. We'll never be able to capture every single thing, but we can get better. We can be better. Claire.
Okay, I have too many things to say for this, but I have to build on just the frenetic energy piece of it that I feel like this group has said a lot, and I heard a lot on the race day, and I actually disagree with, but I think my like words of wisdom in that are like, find your pocket and race your race. It's frenetic because it's the first race on the North American calendar. Everybody's excited. Everybody's been like ants in their pants for however many months leading into it. And I think of it like the end of like a sprint in a bike race where like you just have that nervous energy. Everybody knows like everyone's building. Everybody wants to release that in the first like 10 miles of the bike and the very beginning of the swim, which is where you get dunked, where you get hit, where people are doing weird stuff. But if you just like be here now, find your pocket, if you have that focused, the frenetic energy will not affect you. And I feel like that worked really well for me in this race. My tips. My first one starts with the excuses about not signing up if you live in the East Coast or the Midwest and have winter because I can't do anything outside leading up to the race. It's a hard race. I'm going to die. Like, can't do it. BS. Like, I trained 100% indoors minus 4 outdoor runs, like including the week leading up to the race. It's early season. That's not a valid excuse for not signing up. So put yourself in the high vibe energy. That's number one. Number two, sight to the building and you will have the cleanest water back to T1. I can tell you, I mean, I got my goggles knocked off at the first part of the swim and had to pause and actually pull them back onto my face. Coming back though, felt like I was swimming in Mirror Lake on my own on the weekend. I saw nobody, which is unbelievable. And I swear I was not off course because I like grazed the buoys on my left shoulder every single time. So that's just like my thing. But if you just sight the building, trust the building will take you home.
The building's not moving.
Exactly. Then on the bike, the race isn't won in the first 25 miles, but you can lose it there. Be smart, presence of mind, and cool yourself on the bike at all of the aid stations that you can, because that sun exposure, especially if you're coming from winter, it will catch up with you. You think it's not hot, and then you get to the run, and suddenly things just start to boil up inside a little bit. And then you come home and you're peeling for 2 weeks. Those are my tips.
Those are great tips, and perfectly, beautifully delivered as well. How did you, what's the benefit of getting to transition early and getting out of transition early, like you and I experienced, thinking that the drop bags were right by where we were going to get into the water, and yet we had to pivot quickly and move through transition? How did that all go down?
Remove the frenetic energy of everybody freaking out about where they need to be, and then being the person that has to push your way all the way through that long chute up to where you need to be. Don't be that person. I don't like to be early to races either, but I would rather get there in enough time to second guess whether I've set everything down 5 times and be able to go on my merry way at my own speed without any rushing, and like just be calm from the get-go. Like, control your controllables, and you can control when you show up to transition and how much of a cluster you want to put yourself in. Because 70.3s, I feel like, in particular, draw the I've done this before and I'm showing up late crowd, and like the 35 minutes before transition closes just turn into a madhouse, like carnival experience. Yeah. So I think we removed a lot of that by having our sweet time. It's also the first time that I've ever worn throwaway like flip-flops. And I'm very glad I did that. Just having to hoof it all the way back through transition and then all the way back down in the chute. it kept my feet warmer, and I didn't get any glass in them like I did twice last year. So I'll take that.
Dollar General. Hit a Dollar General and grab dollar flip-flops.
And they donate everything now. If you pay attention, they have like they're trying to do like zero waste. So they have these big bins right by the swim start. And if you put it in there, it's donated instead of thrown away. So
Cool.
I guess that's tip number 4 or 5. I overspent on tips.
These are great tips. They're great tips. And okay, go ahead, Philip.
I was surprised that the morning drop bag was on the other side of the porta-johns. What I learned was you can very politely walk right across the front of the porta-johns, because at this race, for whatever reason, the porta-john buffer to the line was like 20 yards. Like everybody was standing so far back from the doors of the porta-johns. That was the clean aisle. Like you just walk straight, drop the bag off, and walk straight back across the front of the doors. I didn't try to go through the porta-john line because there was no room. And I've never seen that before. I was like, wow, you guys give a lot of buffer here. I was like, wait, there's a whole open aisle up there. So I just walked up, and then a couple other people were doing it. So don't try to get through the porta-john line to get back into transition. Just walk right across the doors of the porta-john. It worked beautifully. Like that was the open space.
Well, I want to say one more thing. Another tip, which Brenda talked about, was the she didn't talk about it here, but before, was the Mylar space blanket under your kit, which I have never practiced before, but I did on race day. And it felt a little crinkly as I was standing in line. Like I think Claire said, I can hear your suit, which is pretty funny. And I was like, oh, is this going to itch or not? But I would say I didn't really feel like super warm on the swim. I didn't feel either or. Like to me, it didn't really affect me. But when I got onto the bike, it surely was warmer on the bike, and I kept it on the entire bike. So it was that was right pressed against my skin, and then I had the tri-kit on top of that. So it was just another added level of warmth. I would say about 30 miles into the bike, I probably could have shed it because it became that warm. But I just kept it in there. But that was a cool tip. I definitely will do that next year. I think trying to put on full finger gloves is challenging when your hands are wet and you can't feel them. So I think next year I'll even ditch that as well, because it's very, very short between when they're super frozen and when they start to warm up as you bike. So other than that, I really like to get to transition early for that very reason. Chris on our team had a flat tire. As I was sharing, Claire and I had time to go to the drop bag and then wait around because we thought we were going to be there, but then be able to move through the transition. So it allows for a little bit less stress, I guess, to kind of find the last minute things. Although I will say Paul and Joe came into transition full on energy level through the roof at 6:05. And for perspective, transition closes at 6:30. It opened at 4:45. Claire and I left transition around 6:05 to go drop the bag and do some running. So they were just arriving at 6:05. But they had their own day. They were ready to embrace all of that energy. They brought it. So there's different ways to handle the morning. So just be okay with your plan and think about it the night before, practice it, for races, smaller races, and really get it dialed into what you think works well for you, not for someone else. This is not the time to accommodate yourself for someone else. This is your thing. And I remember offering the Mylar vest to Claire, and Claire was like, no, I feel comfortable with the plan that I have. I'm going to go with it. Great. Awesome. That's what you do. You don't venture into maybe I should, you just stick with what works for you, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And you'll have that less stress because there's plenty to be provided along the way in those, 5 to 8 hours out there on race day.
So BJ, your comeback from your accident was pretty unreal. I got a first, front row seat to all of it, to watching you have to contemplate in your mind how you were even going to get up. I was here when you took your first step and learning how to walk again. Bring us into your head and into your heart about what it felt like out there or to cross that finish line. This is going to be good. See, the eyes are already welled up. Just speak about it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't expect this. It was hard. It took a lot mentally to believe that I would show up on race day to have the performance I had out there. Like, I had to believe beyond any evidence that I was experiencing, because it was extreme pain at times, especially early on. And then you bump up against that doubt quite often. I had some false starts where I thought I was grooving, but it really wasn't. To have the faith and trust and belief and support that it was all going to play out exactly as it should, I kept feeding that, and everything began to fall into place. And I remember you went away on a retreat. I think it was a retreat, probably a retreat. Yeah, and I got on the treadmill, and I was doing these sessions on the treadmill, and it was like, oh boy, okay, this is happening. Like, I'm actually running. I was running 30 seconds at like 7-minute pace at a 4% incline at maybe 10 of them at a time. And that's where I started. I was walking a lot and only doing a little bit of runs. But when that happened, it sort of set a trajectory where the body kept showing up. The mind was already on board. But let me just say how much work it takes to keep that mind focused on what you want and not feed the doubt and fear that wants to like grab hold of the story and share that, it may not happen. So yes, it is the toughest thing I had to do. Besides that marathon at Kona, that was pretty brutal. An 8-hour marathon was really challenging, but I knew I was going to come out really strong from that mentally. And so I used that over the past 6 months, and to the day, 6 months, I had a race out there, and I felt one moment I saw you guys and I asked where I was, and you said I was in 13th place and not moving up or something like that. Like, nobody else was slowing down. And I had this one moment where I was like, damn it. Right. I put my arm down, and then all of a sudden relief came over that said, how quickly you fall. Like, aren't you grateful to be out here running close to what you ran before? Like, isn't that enough? And immediately, this was the second lap, my big smile came over my face, and it was like, I'm racing because I can. I'm running out here because I can. Pain-free. What do I have to complain about? And really pulled upon all of you out there, because that's a big part of what made me stay dedicated to this race, was being out there with all of you. I really wanted to be on the race course with you. Like, to support, I love to support. I love to be out there spectating, but I really love to be on course with you on the ground floor. So thank you all for helping me get through that. Thank you for believing in me and supporting me and making me on crutches move yoga blocks across myself, move them across the room so I could take responsibility for my power from within, like really own it. That's the kind of support and love that I needed, not someone to move the blocks for me. So thank you. And thank all of you guys. I celebrated that day, and I don't know what else to say. It was life-changing, as I keep saying, life-changing.
I remember when it happened, it was October. It was so funny. It was October 5th, and this race was April 5th. It was October 5th, and you were so battered and bloody and couldn't move, and we were here. And I remember we were just saying, like, we don't know how this story ends. We don't know how this story ends. So let's just be right here and let's just follow the storyline and we'll see what happens. And 3 weeks later, you did Kona. And then 6 months later, you had an incredible race. So yeah, it's been, I would say that's been one of the hardest things we ever had to go through, and really, really cool to see. I can't even begin to put into words, everyone who's listening to this, like what I got to see behind the scenes of not how strong you are, but let's just say the power of the mind. It's everything. It's everything. All right. So we're going to wrap. What? You want to say something else?
I want to go around and ask them.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Sure.
I want to hear from all of you. Was there, on this mindset thread, was there a particular workout or session in your training that you can recall really shifted maybe your attitude to what you could achieve on race day or what you want to achieve this season? Was there a session that really stood out where you maybe had to dig a little bit deep and you proved to yourself that, man, I've got this? Brendan.
Yeah, I'll go off the rip. There was a run you gave me that was like hour easy, and then like 30 hill sprints or like 30-second hill repeats with like a 10-minute jog between them. That was the second hour. And then it was like, oh, and then here's 30 minutes of tempo just to like get home. And I remember just like getting ready for that and just being like, this is kind of a big one. And then I finished it and I fueled well and I finished it and I felt strong. I was kind of like, okay, I can do some hard shit. Like I can do this. Because that was like a big building, like a good building workout for me, just to kind of be like, okay, you can do this. Like there's some things you can do. And like that was like the start of the season almost too. It was kind of like, all right, let's see where this goes. It kind of scared me a little bit because I was like, oh man, this is really early on. Like how much more are we going to do? Yeah, that one was really spicy. I love that.
Oh, that's spicy. If you earn those workouts, BJ will give you the spiciest workouts you've ever experienced. Anyone else want to share?
I can say all of bike camp.
Bike camp. You were my hero in bike camp, by the way. So continue on, please.
First of all, I love the bike. The bike is like my baby, my favorite thing in the world to do. I also know that I am capable of so much more than I have been able to show on the bike. So bike camp was like, what was that? 6 weeks, 8 weeks? I can't remember how many. Something in that ballpark of just ass kicking bike workout after bike workout. And it was awesome. Like loved every single second of it because I was not going to not finish one of those, no matter how freaking hard it was. Absolutely not. No way, not happening. So I pushed myself to another level in the basement on Zwift, just questioning some choices and being totally invested the entire time. That was a big one because it not only tested mindset, but that to me tested race day nutrition in a way that I felt like I was not doing on my own for a really long time. And I needed to see what I could do mentally and physically under a heavy strain load and keep moving forward. And it rocked. And I look forward to the next one because game on.
I loved reading your notes during camp and I think I shared with Jess, there were multiple times you were like, I just didn't know if I could make it through the first set, but I made it through. And then I had the second round and then I did that. And then I did the third round and I was just about ready to die. And
yes, it's like the first one was always the worst. You're like, oh my God, I've never held this power ever, let alone for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever it is. And you'd get through one and I'm like, okay. And it would get better and better as time went on. And then the last one until like I think that I had like 1 week where I was like, I could do another. I really could. And I could on any of them if I really wanted to. there. It's in there. But each one would get better each time. And it's like, okay, I got through one, I can get through one more, and just like counting them down. And I do the same thing swimming and running too. I never like count up. I always count down. And just like, you can do it then, I can do it now. Nothing's changed. Like, just keep headstrong and keep going. Like, you don't get stronger by quitting. So I kept going.
Yeah, I love that. No, the only thing you do from quitting is strengthen your quitting muscle, which is a real bummer one to reverse. That takes
Totally.
work.
Yes.
You can't quit on that. All right, Brenda, Philip, either one of you guys have a workout that you feel like you were like, yeah, I got this?
Not for this race in particular, but while here, BJ, that run we did on the course, I think we jogged an hour and then you did 3x10 decreasing and I did the first two with you. And that second 10 minutes, so I'd been out for an hour and 10 minutes with you. We were down near, we were at a pace that I hadn't run in a long time. And if I believe right, I jabbered the whole time. I jabbered the whole 10 minutes I was with you. I was so beside, like, I didn't know what to do with this. I can't believe I'm doing this. And then I wisely backed off and did not finish the last 10 minutes with him because my run volume wasn't there. So that was a nice reminder for me that, wait, I can actually motivate down the road when healthy, fueled, in the right environment. And then the second one was my, I don't even know what to call it, the Palomar ride Monday. Thank you all for taking care of me. That was the hardest day I've ever had on a bicycle. Without a doubt. And you guys had my back the whole time. So if I can pull that off, after 2 days after a race that I was not trained for and still survive. Now it's my turn to get well. Okay, I'm going on mute.
Yep. Muting. Yeah, I mean that ride is legit on any day. So yeah, it's an honor. It was an honor to have you all with us that day. Brenda, how about you?
That was an amazing ride, especially this first race that I've not been just hammered to the couch after days after a race. And we went up and did that ride. It was really awesome. But my leading up, I mean, I did bike camp late, so I was kind of getting close to the race to finish bike camp. But so that was pretty good. But the workout that I really loved, kind of to what Philip was saying, was that run we did on the trail behind the 200. We did some 200s. And I was running at a pace that I looked down and I was jabbering and I was like, how does this feel so easy? And I was running like fast for me. And I thought, okay, if I can do it here. I mean, I didn't do it on this race, but I know I can do it on another race. And I am so looking forward to some spicy workouts starting pretty soon. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. Because I know I can do them too. So,
well, it's been so fun. It was so fun to have you all here. Like Brenda, you were the first one to arrive. Brendan obviously is the last one to leave. And like literally, we've had 3 weeks of like training partners, people we love. I always love being able to ride with strong women on the bike. There's nothing better for me. I love that. So it was like amazing climbing Palomar with you last week. Okay, so we are officially going to wrap this up now. And how we're going to wrap it up, we're going to go Brendan, Philip, Brenda, Claire, BJ. One word to describe your Oceanside experience.
Lovely.
Gratitude.
spectacular.
Enlightening.
Elation.
Yeah, I think for me, it was just hype. It was just so much hype. And I love hype.
Another word.
What?
community.
Yeah, of course. The community was amazing. So 2026, we're going to be back here. You can come in as early as you want and stay as long as you want, because I love having training partners, and I love just marinating people in this SoCal vibe and this SoCal sun, and going out and riding these incredible mountains and these incredible routes that we have to ride out here, and swimming in the, we didn't really touch upon it, but we swam in some pretty fierce ocean leading into the race. Some pretty big waves. Like there's definitely like 8-foot waves out there, and really, really fun. And we all survived. And man, I will wrap up the entire experience, all these weeks, in gratitude. Like everybody showed up, everybody raced, everybody was safe. Nobody, we all were successful in the water, in training workouts, in the consumption of coffee. Like it was just all so successful and so special in our hearts. And so I hope it's an experience that lasts, and we have every plan to repeat and take it up the next level in 2026. BJ is gonna officially wrap it up.
Yeah, a little shout out to the other athletes that completed. Please. Kat, Paul, Joe, and Chris, who did his first 70.3 and his first triathlon. And then I thought he had a broken foot, but his two laces were too tight, which is very common. But yeah, congratulations to all yogis out there and non-yogis. So good to bring this community together for this race. And let's do it again in 2026. May 28th is the race. March 28th is the race, is 1 week earlier. The Carlsbad 5000 is 1 week later than Oceanside next year. So if you stick around, maybe you can have a better performance at the 5K with some rest in between. But we will surely do Palomar on Monday. Let's book that. I think that's pretty big. Thank you guys for being here. We love you all. We'll do it again next year.